Now, each of our letters of our name indicates a vibration. So that vibration stays with us, and there was an ancient Greek folklore that our names are given to us on a higher plane, even before our birth. And that is why our parents, perhaps you're a parent, radiates towards a certain name. It's like a magnetic pull, whereby we have to call our child by that name. It might be after they've born, depending on their temperament, hair colour, even the month they're born, for example. Some people call their daughter or son after a month. However, what I want to do today is go over the most popular name of 2022, the trendy names, and what they mean. So let's go. The first name is Maeve, and Maeve is an Irish name that has exploded. It means the intoxicating one. Also, it's a ruling name in that Maeve indicates control. It indicates that she's going to rule over others. There is an Irish mythology which considered that Maeve was a goddess, and Maeve is traditionally a female name. However, it can be used for a male as well, but traditionally it is Maeve, and it sounds very similar to cave, the word cave. And again, caves are very spiritual in nature. If you've ever done any meditations on animal totems, then you tend to go to a cave in order to meet your animal totems. So Maeve, very spiritual, very old-fashioned. However, it was one of the top 1,000 girls' names in the United States in 1997. So it's been growing in popularity. So if you fancy Maeve, it is a very beautiful name. Interesting spiritual meaning. The next name on the list is Ophelia, and Ophelia can be spelled Ophelia, or alternatively Ophelia can be spelled Ofelia. Now this comes from the Greek word of Ophelia, which means basically it was a saint Ophelia, who was a noble woman who originated from Denmark. And Ophelia was a potential wife for Hamlet. Now, in terms of what Ophelia means, it means being helpful. It's traditionally a female name, and it's quite hard to pronounce Ophelia. In terms of how popular Ophelia is, it was the 390th most popular girl's name, and in 2020 there were only 790 babies who were given the name Ophelia. So yes, it is a very rare, unique name. It is associated with Denmark and also serpents, okay? So it's thought the name comes from the Greek Opherius, which means helpful or being helpful, and also serpent. It's a fantastic middle name if you're thinking of a middle name. And the nicknames for Ophelia is Philly or Phil. So those are potential nicknames for that beautiful baby's name. And it does mean beautiful in Greek origin and helper, the help to be beautiful. So in terms of vibrations, we've got the letter O, which basically means the circle of life. We've got the round circle at the beginning of the name, and the full meaning of O is obviously an element. It is a circle, and circles have quite an interesting spiritual meaning. They are associated with energy that goes round and round, the divine force or spirit that keeps our reality, keeps our world, keeps our earth in motion. The circle at the beginning of Ophelia's name is a powerful symbolism. It means that the universal energy will exist in her life, and it helps us to think of birth and death as a cycle, the life cycle of life. So let's move on to the next name. Elodie. And Elodie is a very rare name. It's the 700th most popular name, and in 2021 there are only 396 baby girls named Elodie in the United States. So it is a very rare name. It is a French name of German and Latin and Greek origin. The Spanish variant is Elodie. And Elodie was a Spanish saint in the 19th century, and her sisters were the daughters of a Muslim father and a Christian mother, and she lived in northern Spain. So if you are thinking about that name, it is very beautiful. And if we look at the spiritual meaning of that name, it's important to consider. It begins with a E, and the spiritual letter E symbolises experience, leadership, enlightenment. And E is also about expansion, about equilibrium, about empathy. It's the fifth letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and it's symbolic of the breath of God if we look at Buddhism. And it represents the divine, the essence of life, and how we navigate the world in our changing nature. So this is a beautiful name if that's what you are considering. Let's move on to the next name. Bonita. Now, Bonita is a very rare name. It means pretty and cute in Spanish and Portuguese. Bonita is a baby girl that is popular in Christian religion. And the variation for this is Benita, spelt with an E, Benita, which comes from the Latin benedictus, which means the blessed one. So that's a female variation of benedictus, Benita, Bonita. Beautiful, beautiful names. And the biblical meaning of Bonita is one who is blessed. So let's move on to the next very popular name in 2022, very rare name that is growing significantly, and this is Iris. Iris, it's a beautiful name, obviously from the flower, the iris flower, and it's a classic name which comes from the Greek word iris, which means and translated into rainbow. It was the name of the goddess of the rainbow if we look at Greek mythology, and it's associated with delivering messages across a rainbow bridge, and it is associated with the goddess of the rainbow. So in terms of how rare is Iris, Iris is a rather rare. It's, if we look at the girls' names in 2020, I think there was, off the top of my head, around about 800 girls named Iris. So it is quite a cute, original name. It has quite a lot of vibration because obviously we have the iris flower, and the iris flower is the colour purple. It's quite an old-fashioned, what I would call vintage name. It goes along with names such as Pearl, Sylvia, and those kind of vintage feel names which are starting to come into popularity, such as Mabel, Maeve, those kind of beautiful names. So I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to check out my website, Auntyflo.com, where I've detailed many different beautiful names.